But if you close your eyes,
hi guys, welcome to another interesting video by Maximus. Today we're finally back with more Injustice Gods Among Us. And before we get into the actual video, I'm going to have to cover some other stuff first. So firstly, I would like you guys to know that this is actually a voiceover and I'm not recording while playing as I usually do. And the reason for that is basically because I did do that, but this time when I recorded, I forgot to remove the audio of Injustice itself out of the video. And since now the audio is merged into one file after I uploaded it onto YouTube, and I have not even published it yet, just uploaded it, it already got demonetized because it did have copyrighted music in it, and that music being the Injustice soundtrack itself. Like when you're on the main menu, like you guys see now, there is the music. So yeah, and other than that, I am going to say that I do plan to remove my intro probably in the next video, because I did, it has been here for many years and I did plan to change it for a long time, but I have not done so. Like 1 or 2 years ago I really wanted to change it, but I did not. But yeah, so anyways, we're going to actually do the video for the Nekron's Scythe gear right now, and hopefully there aren't too many gaps like these where I have no idea what I used to say back when I was actually doing the video. But yeah, so in the last video that I released, which was the patch video, I did not notice there was a 9th page added, as you guys can see here, which I will be doing videos on. And as to when those videos will be released, I can't really say, because I've been really busy, and whenever I have the time I will make those videos. But for this video itself, while we actually test out the new gear, we are going to be doing Battle 57, which is this one, at the same time. And the Nekron's Scythe gear is actually not the it is the newest gear, but I did not manage to get it on the first time it was on online multiplayer, and I did get it the second time, but the second time actually ended like 2 to 3 weeks ago, but I did not have time to make a video on it until now. So for now, we're actually going to just upgrade it fully first, as we usually do. And as you guys can see, the upgrading cost in terms of credits as well as shards do follow the same as a normal 4-star gear. And for this gear, it does add 1% to both power steal and life drain per upgrade, 5% chance increased by 5% to the damage done to frozen and stunned opponents, and as well as adding 3% to the amount of health you resurrect with after the resurrection. So now when we max it out, and as you can see, there's a little bit of lag at certain points in this video for some reason, not sure why, but after we max it out, we will end up with 40% power steal and life drain when health is below 15%, 200% increased damage against frozen or stunned opponents, as well as 65% health after we resurrect. Yes, so for the power steal and the life drain, I don't really think it's useful, because we are rarely below 15%, and even when we are, the life drain itself innately in the gear will cause you to go above 15%. So the two effects of power steal and life drain will rarely be on the gear, so it's not very useful. And as for the increased damage against frozen or stunned opponents, that's basically the same thing as the Cloak of Destiny, except that we do have increased damage against frozen opponents as well. And at this point in the video when I originally recorded it, I did not know what frozen was. So I was trying to figure out whether frozen opponents meant those frozen by Killer Frost, or those actually frozen as in they cannot move at all, as if they're stunned, like that of Arrow Green Arrow's passive that causes his light combos combo ender to possibly shoot a freeze arrow, or Godfall Superman's special 2 the Frozen delivery, the last part doing a freeze right before he throws that fireball thing. Alright, so the reason why we've basically teleported here into the gear select is because I cut out a large chunk of the previous video, which will not only make the video shorter but also prevents me from staring at a long section of video in which I have nothing to say, because since I've already said it before, obviously now I'm talking faster because I know exactly what I want to say / what I have said. But basically here we have equipped our normal A team, the Arkham team, with Batman, Batgirl, and the Arkham Knight, and we have removed the Arkham Knight's Soul Taker sword and replaced it with Nekron's Scythe. So in the first fight, we will be testing on the 40% Power Steal and the 40% Life Drain, where we're gonna let the Arkham Knight basically get whacked down to nearly no health. So at first I was expecting that we would have some difficulties in the Battle 57 because we're already on the 9th page and the 8th page was already pretty hard. But as you guys can see here, we are basically mowing through them, and if we did continue just doing our basic combos, we would easily have just finished the fight in like probably 10 seconds or less with the Arkham Knight's basic damage. But basically what we're doing here is we're letting ourselves get whacked by the Batman so that we can get ourselves below 15% health and see the life steal as well as the power steal. So Batman unleashes a couple of basic attacks. We just activate our first special just for fun, and we're almost down to 15% health. A blocked explosive batarang and a basic combo by Batman puts us below 50%. As you guys can see, the life drain and power steal activated there, which put us above 20% health and prevented it from continuing, which is why I did feel that the 40% power steal and life drain when below 15% health is not very useful, because number one, that is not where we want to be in terms of health. We want to have definitely more health than that. And furthermore, the gear itself causes you to heal, which puts you back past the 15% health, which prevents you from doing the power steal and the life steal. Although, I will say, I think that their intention of having this ability is not so much to have a constant power steal and life steal, but rather to save yourself when you're at low health and basically continue surviving at a very low health. So the moment you go below 15% health, you heal, and when you're not below 15%, you don't benefit from power steal and life drain. So basically, I believe that their intention of this gear is to survive at a very low health, and that synergizes very well with the fourth ability of the gear, which would be the revive, which we'll get to in this test fight, the second fight. So in this fight, we basically knocked out everybody so that we did have the knockout. So we did also find out that Batgirl's passive activates before the effect of the gear triggers. So we do get the save before we get the revive, but we're going to get ourselves back in with the revive. And as you guys can see, 65% health is no joke. That was a lot more than what I expected to see on the health bar. But yes, that definitely looked like more than 65% health to me, but of course it is not. I'm just saying that it appears to be a lot of health. But yes, that is really useful. So now in the next fight, this is where we test whether Frozen means the Killer Frost freeze or the literal Green Arrow freeze where you cannot move. So first we're putting Killer Frost in and equipping her with 2-piece 4th roll, as well as the Nekron's Scythe, obviously. So we are finding the Nekron's Scythe, and throughout this video I'm having problems finding the Scythe because for some reason, although I know it starts with N, I'm looking at N, but I just miss it out every single time. But yes, so here we're going to jump into the third fight, and we're starting off with Killer Frost. So we're trying to see how much damage we do to Raven when it's not blocked, but unfortunately for us, in this match she keeps blocking. So we find out that we do 1880 damage for a heavy attack when not frozen, supposedly. So now that we have supposedly frozen our Raven, we do get off another heavy combo, which we realized does 1880 as well, meaning that we did do the same amount of damage, and Frozen is not Killer Frost's freeze. It is actually the Green Arrow freeze. So if that's it, I'm going to fast forward the rest of the fight. Alright, so there we go. We fast forward the fight by 8 times speed. So here we get in Batman, quickly get rid of Raven, activate our super move, get rid of the reverse flash, get Killer Frost back in, activate our super move, fail to get rid of Catwoman, and then we activate a special one from Batgirl, which does kill Catwoman and knock out Catwoman, and then we get in Green Arrow onto the team, and we give him the same gear setup as Killer Frost, recharge Batman and Batgirl, and then we finally jump into our 4th test fight, and we get off our basic combo, and we do get off a freeze, and as you guys can see, the first hit that we did here again did a lot of extra damage, which was 200% extra damage to be specific. But we do find out that it is indeed Green Arrow, Green Arrow's freeze, and Godfall Superman's freeze, and that sort of freeze where the opponent is completely immobilized and cannot move at all is the freeze that we are referring to, and it's not referring to the freeze that Killer Frost has, because if that was the case, I think that would be pretty strong, because Killer Frost is a really useful character, whereas we don't have a lot of useful characters who has the freeze. So with that said, I'm going to be doing the fast forward again. Alright, so we're at 8 times speed again. As you can see, we're using Batgirl getting off a special one. There goes Black Adam, there goes Superman, and Batman just going to come in quickly clean up Harley Quinn. And now basically we're going to proceed to compare the Nekron's Scythe to the Cloak of Destiny in a side-by-side comparison. So basically, as I said before, the Nekron's Scythe, the Power Steal, and Life Drain, I think that those are pretty useful for survivability at very low health, but personally, by my playstyle, that's not really where I want to be. And whereas I'm going to say and generalize that the 200% damage against stunned or frozen opponents for the Scythe is the same as the Cloak of Destiny's one, because the frozen part really is not that useful, so I'm going to take that ability as the same. And basically the comparison here is whether you think that crit boost with 50% more damage on crit attacks and 20% stun chance is more important, or the low health survivability with a Power Steal and Life Drain, as well as the revive, assuming that you knocked out one character, is more useful. And personally, I think that there is a case for both, depending on what character you're using and what situation you're in. So basically, I'd say that these two are similar in terms of having that stun chance, but yet again completely different. Cloak of Destiny is a lot more of an aggressive gear, which is why I'll be leaving it on my Batgirl, because I just want her to do maximum amount of damage with a special one. Whereas Nekron's Scythe, the main use is not for the 200% damage on stun, but rather is for the survivability of being able to heal and Power Steal at low health, and at the same time have a revive considering you knocked out one character, which is really not that hard. It's basically having the good part about the 2-piece fourth roll rolled into one effect, because it's not that hard to knock out a character. Even if that character is like a very tanky character with very little damage, it's still relatively easy to do that. You just get the other character to very low health, tag in your tanky character, and get off a special, and that's it. So basically, I think that both of them are really good, really useful, but for different purposes. So now over here, what we're doing is we're actually finishing up the final fight of Battle 57. Before we close out the video. So as you guys can see, we still have the Arkham Knight in, and we just got our special 2 blocked by Darkseid. And we are getting our health lowered significantly, which is really good because we can get to show off Nekron's Scythe more. And we knocked out Darkseid, and Bane is in with a Rage Slam, which puts us to really low health. Another basic combo puts us to nearly nothing, but as you guys can see, we did manage to heal back up. So I think this was the intention of Nekron's Scythe. Alright, so anyways guys, thanks for watching the video, and goodbye.